The alien warrior staggered back, its claws trembling as it tried to pull the glowing armor off its body. The suit hissed and sparked, as if alive, rejecting the creature with a force that sent it crashing to the ground. The alien's eyes widened in fear before it collapsed, lifeless. The armor glowed brighter for a moment, then dimmed, waiting. In the shadows, a human scavenger watched, heart pounding. The scavenger had seen many strange things in the ruins of the alien temple, but nothing like this. The armor was ancient, covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change when stared at too long. It called to the scavenger, not with words, but with a feeling, a pull that couldn't be ignored. Cautiously, the scavenger stepped forward. The armor's glow intensified, and the symbols began to move faster. As the human reached out to touch it, the armor suddenly shifted, pieces flying through the air and attaching themselves to the scavenger's body. It was cold at first, then warm, as if it recognized its new wearer. The scavenger gasped as visions flooded their mind, flashes of stars, battles, and a voice whispering, "You are the one." Before they could process what was happening, the ground shook. Alien ships were descending, their engines roaring like thunder. The scavenger didn't know why the armor had chosen them, but one thing was clear: they were no longer just a scavenger. They were something more. And the aliens were coming. The scavenger ran. The armor, now fully attached, felt like a second skin, light yet powerful, humming with energy. Every step was faster, every movement sharper. The alien ships were closing in, their searchlights cutting through the ruins like knives. The scavenger ducked behind a crumbling wall, heart racing, trying to make sense of what was happening. "Why me?" the scavenger whispered, staring at the glowing symbols on the armor's gauntlet. The voice from the visions didn't answer, but the armor pulsed faintly, as if to reassure. A loud crash echoed nearby. The scavenger peeked out and saw a squad of alien soldiers landing not far away. Their armor was sleek and black, their weapons glowing with deadly energy. They moved with precision, scanning the area. One of them pointed toward the scavenger's hiding spot. Panic surged, but the armor reacted before the scavenger could. A faint shimmer surrounded them, bending the light and making them nearly invisible. The scavenger held their breath as the aliens passed by, mere feet away. One of them paused, tilting its head as if sensing something, but then moved on. When the coast was clear, the scavenger bolted, using the armor's enhanced speed to put distance between themselves and the aliens. The ruins gave way to a dense forest, the trees towering and ancient. The scavenger didn't stop until they reached a small cave hidden by thick vines. Inside, they collapsed, breathing heavily. The armor's glow dimmed, and the scavenger finally had a moment to think. "What are you?" they asked, staring at the gauntlet. This time, the armor responded. A holographic image flickered to life, a star map, with a single planet highlighted. The scavenger recognized it, Earth. But before they could process this, the armor's voice echoed in their mind again. "They are coming. You must survive." The scavenger didn't have time to ask more questions. A low hum filled the air, and the ground outside the cave began to shake. The aliens had found them. The scavenger stood, the armor's energy surging through their veins. They didn't know why the armor had chosen them, but they knew one thing: they weren't going down without a fight. As the first alien soldier stepped into the cave, the scavenger moved. The armor's gauntlet glowed brightly, and a burst of energy shot out, knocking the alien off its feet. The scavenger didn't wait, they charged, using the armor's strength to overpower the next soldier. But more were coming. The scavenger could hear their guttural voices outside the cave, calling for reinforcements. The armor's voice whispered again, "Run. Fight. Survive." The scavenger hesitated for only a moment before sprinting deeper into the forest. The aliens were relentless, their weapons firing bolts of energy that lit up the night. The scavenger dodged and weaved, the armor's reflexes keeping them one step ahead. As they ran, the scavenger noticed something strange. The armor was learning, adapting. With every attack, it seemed to grow stronger, its glow brighter. The scavenger didn't understand how, but they knew the armor was more than just a weapon. It was alive. The chase continued for what felt like hours. The scavenger's body ached, but the armor kept them going. Finally, they reached a cliff overlooking a vast canyon. Below, a river roared, its waters churning violently. The aliens were closing in. The scavenger looked down at the river, then at the armor. "Can you get us across?" they asked. The armor pulsed, and the scavenger felt a surge of confidence. Without another thought, they leaped off the cliff, the armor's energy propelling them farther than any human could jump. For a moment, they were flying, the wind rushing past their face. But the aliens weren't giving up. A blast of energy narrowly missed the scavenger, hitting the cliffside and sending rocks tumbling into the river. The scavenger landed hard on the other side, rolling to absorb the impact. They looked back and saw the aliens regrouping, preparing to cross the canyon. The scavenger knew they couldn't keep running forever. They needed a plan. As they caught their breath, the armor's voice spoke again, clearer this time. "Find the others. They will help you." "Others?" the scavenger asked, confused. The armor didn't explain. Instead, it projected another hologram, a map with a blinking dot not far from their location. The scavenger didn't know who or what they would find there, but they knew one thing: they had no other choice. With the aliens still hot on their trail, the scavenger set off toward the blinking dot, the armor's glow lighting the way. Whatever was waiting for them, it had to be better than facing the aliens alone. The scavenger moved cautiously through the dense forest, the armor's glow providing just enough light to see. The map projected by the armor led them deeper into the wilderness, away from the ruins and the alien pursuers. The forest was eerily quiet, as if even the animals knew something dangerous was nearby. As they walked, the scavenger couldn't stop thinking about the armor. It had saved their life more than once, but it also felt like a burden. The visions, the voice, the strange powers, it was all too much to process. "Who are you?" the scavenger asked aloud, staring at the gauntlet. This time, the armor responded. A soft hum filled the air, and the scavenger felt a strange warmth spreading through their body. Suddenly, their vision blurred, and they were no longer in the forest. They stood on a vast, glowing platform surrounded by stars. In front of them was a figure, a human, but unlike any they had ever seen. The figure wore a similar suit of armor, but it was more advanced, radiating power. "You are not the first," the figure said, its voice calm and steady. "And you will not be the last." The scavenger tried to speak, but no words came out. The figure continued, "This armor was created by an ancient human civilization, one that reached the stars long before the aliens rose to power. We were explorers, warriors, and protectors. But our greatest strength was our unity." The vision shifted, showing images of a thriving human society, cities floating in space, ships traveling between stars, and humans working together to build a better future. But then came the war. The aliens, jealous of humanity's power, attacked without warning. The images turned dark, showing battles, destruction, and finally, the fall of humanity. "We created the armor to preserve our legacy," the figure said. "It is more than a weapon. It is a guardian, a teacher, and a beacon of hope. But it can only be wielded by those who embody the true spirit of humanity, courage, compassion, and the will to fight for what is right." The scavenger felt a surge of emotions, pride, sadness, and determination. "Why me?" they finally managed to ask. The figure smiled. "Because you are human. And humanity's story is not over." The vision faded, and the scavenger was back in the forest. The armor's glow was brighter now, and the scavenger felt a newfound sense of purpose. They weren't just a scavenger anymore. They were a protector, a bearer of humanity's legacy. But there was no time to dwell on it. The sound of alien engines echoed in the distance. The scavenger looked at the map projected by the armor. The blinking dot was close, just beyond the next ridge. As they climbed the ridge, the scavenger's heart pounded with anticipation. What, or who, would they find? The armor had said others would help, but who could possibly stand against the aliens? When they reached the top, the scavenger froze. Below them was a hidden valley, and in the center of the valley was a small settlement. But it wasn't just any settlement. It was a human settlement. The scavenger couldn't believe their eyes. Humans, real humans, were walking around, working, talking, and laughing. It was like stepping into a dream. But before they could take it all in, a voice called out from behind them. "Don't move." The scavenger turned and saw a group of humans pointing weapons at them. They were dressed in makeshift armor, their faces hardened by years of survival. "Who are you, and how did you find us?" the leader demanded, his eyes narrowing. The scavenger raised their hands, the armor's glow dimming slightly. I'm one of you," they said. "The armor brought me here." The leader's eyes flicked to the armor, and his expression changed. He lowered his weapon slightly. "That armor, where did you get it?" Before the scavenger could answer, a loud explosion rocked the valley. The scavenger turned and saw alien ships descending from the sky, their weapons firing at the settlement. "They found us," someone shouted. The scavenger looked at the leader. "We don't have time for this. We need to fight, together." The leader hesitated for only a moment before nodding. "You heard them. Prepare for battle." As the humans scrambled to defend their home, the scavenger felt the armor's energy surge. This was it, the moment they had been chosen for. They weren't just fighting for themselves anymore. They were fighting for humanity. The alien ships descended like vultures, their weapons raining down fire and destruction on the human settlement. The scavenger stood at the forefront, the armor's glow intensifying as it prepared for battle. Around them, the humans of the settlement scrambled to defend their home, their faces a mix of fear and determination. The leader of the settlement, a grizzled man with a scar across his cheek, barked orders. "Take cover. Use the tunnels. We can't fight them head-on." But the scavenger knew running wasn't an option. The aliens would never stop hunting them, not as long as they had the armor. "We have to stand our ground," the scavenger said, their voice steady despite the chaos. The leader hesitated, then nodded. "You've got that fancy armor. What's the plan?" The scavenger looked at the approaching alien ships, their mind racing. The armor pulsed, and suddenly, a plan formed in their head, clear and precise, as if the armor had placed it there. "We need to take out their leader," the scavenger said. "If we can disrupt their command, the rest will fall into chaos." The leader raised an eyebrow. "And how do you plan to do that?" Before the scavenger could answer, a massive alien ship landed in the center of the valley. Its ramp lowered, and a towering alien figure emerged. This one was different from the others, its armor was more ornate, its presence commanding. The scavenger could feel the weight of its gaze even from a distance. "That's their commander," the scavenger said. "If we can take it down, the others will falter." The leader nodded grimly. "All right. We'll cover you. But you'd better make it count." The scavenger didn't waste time. They charged toward the alien commander, the armor's energy propelling them forward. The aliens opened fire, but the armor's defenses held, deflecting the blasts with ease. The scavenger moved like a blur, dodging and weaving through the chaos. As they neared the commander, the alien raised a massive weapon, its eyes glowing with malice. "You are brave, human," it hissed, its voice deep and guttural. "But bravery will not save you." The scavenger didn't respond. They lunged, the armor's gauntlet glowing as it formed a blade of pure energy. The commander blocked the attack, the clash of their weapons sending sparks flying. The fight was intense. The commander was strong, its movements precise and deadly. But the scavenger had something the alien didn't, humanity's spirit. With every strike, the armor grew stronger, its power feeding off the scavenger's determination. Finally, the scavenger saw an opening. They feinted left, then struck right, the energy blade slicing through the commander's armor. The alien roared in pain, stumbling back. "This is for humanity," the scavenger said, driving the blade home. The commander collapsed, its body dissolving into a pool of glowing liquid. The other aliens hesitated, their movements faltering. Without their leader, they were lost. The scavenger turned to the humans of the settlement. "Now! Push them back!" The humans rallied, their spirits lifted by the scavenger's victory. Together, they drove the aliens out of the valley, their cheers echoing through the night. But the scavenger knew this was only the beginning. The alien empire wouldn't stop until they had the armor, and until humanity was wiped out. As the dust settled, the leader approached the scavenger. "You saved us," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "But this isn't over, is it?" The scavenger shook their head. "No. This is just the start. The aliens will come back, and they'll be stronger next time. We need to prepare." The leader nodded. "Then we'll fight with you. You're not alone anymore." The scavenger felt a surge of hope. For the first time, they weren't just a scavenger or a bearer of the armor. They were part of something bigger, a community, a family. But as they looked at the stars above, the scavenger couldn't shake the feeling that the hardest battles were yet to come. The victory in the valley was a turning point, but the scavenger knew it was only the beginning. The alien empire would not let this defeat go unanswered. As the humans of the settlement celebrated, the scavenger and the leader, whose name was revealed to be Garrett, began planning their next move. "We need to unite the other settlements," Garrett said, his voice low but firm. "If we're going to stand a chance against the aliens, we can't do it alone." The scavenger nodded. "The armor showed me a map. There are other human settlements out there, scattered and hidden. If we can find them, we can build an army." Garrett's eyes narrowed. "And how do you plan to convince them to join us? Most of them have been in hiding for years. They've lost hope." The scavenger looked at the armor, its glow steady and reassuring. "We'll show them that hope isn't lost. We'll show them what humanity can do when we stand together." The next morning, the scavenger, Garrett, and a small group of volunteers set out on their mission. The armor's map guided them, its holographic projections leading the way. The journey was long and dangerous, with alien patrols lurking around every corner. But the scavenger's determination never wavered. Their first stop was a settlement hidden deep within a mountain range. The humans there were wary, their faces hardened by years of survival. When the scavenger and Garrett approached, they were met with suspicion. "Who are you, and what do you want?" the settlement's leader, a woman named Lyra, demanded. The scavenger stepped forward, the armor's glow catching everyone's attention. "We're here to fight back," they said. "The aliens think they've won, but they're wrong. Humanity is still here, and we're stronger than they think." Lyra's eyes flicked to the armor, then to Garrett. "And what makes you think we can win?" The scavenger didn't hesitate. "Because we have something they don't. We have each other." It wasn't an easy sell. The humans of the settlement had been through too much to believe in hope so easily. But the scavenger's words, combined with the armor's presence, began to sway them. "We've been hiding for too long," one of the settlers said, stepping forward. "If there's a chance to fight back, I'll take it." One by one, others joined, their spirits reignited by the scavenger's courage. By the end of the day, the settlement had agreed to join the rebellion. The journey continued, with the scavenger and Garrett visiting settlement after settlement. Some were eager to join, while others needed more convincing. But in every place they went, the scavenger's message was the same: humanity's strength lay in its unity. As the days turned into weeks, the rebellion grew. Humans from all walks of life came together, their differences set aside for a common cause. The scavenger became a symbol of hope, their armor a beacon of humanity's resilience. But the aliens were not idle. Reports began to trickle in of increased patrols and attacks on human settlements. The Empire was growing desperate, and the scavenger knew it was only a matter of time before they launched a full-scale assault. One night, as the rebellion camped in a hidden valley, the scavenger stood watch, staring at the stars. Garrett approached, his expression grim. "We've come a long way," he said. "But the hardest part is still ahead." The scavenger nodded. "I know. But we're not alone anymore. We have an army now, and we have something the aliens will never understand." "What's that?" Garrett asked. The scavenger smiled faintly. "The will to fight for each other." As the two stood in silence, the armor's glow pulsed softly, as if in agreement. The rebellion was growing, but the real battle was yet to come. The rebellion had grown stronger, but so had the alien threat. Reports of massive alien fleets gathering on the horizon sent a wave of unease through the human camps. The scavenger knew it was only a matter of time before the Empire struck with full force. One evening, as the leaders of the rebellion gathered around a makeshift table, the scavenger laid out the plan. "We can't wait for them to come to us," they said, their voice steady. "We need to strike first, take out their command center and cripple their forces." Garrett frowned. "That's a risky move. If we fail, we'll be exposing ourselves. If we don't act, we'll be overrun," the scavenger countered. "This is our best chance." After a tense discussion, the leaders agreed. The rebellion would launch a coordinated attack on the alien command center, a massive fortress orbiting a nearby moon. It was a daring plan, but the scavenger's confidence inspired them. The next day, the rebellion mobilized. Ships that had been hidden for years were brought out of hiding, their engines roaring to life. The scavenger, clad in the glowing armor, stood at the forefront, their presence a rallying point for the humans. As the fleet approached the alien fortress, the scavenger felt a mix of excitement and dread. The fortress was a monstrous structure, bristling with weapons and surrounded by enemy ships. But the scavenger knew they had no choice. The battle began with a deafening roar. Alien ships swarmed the rebellion's fleet, their weapons firing relentlessly. The scavenger's ship weaved through the chaos, the armor's energy shielding it from harm. "We need to get inside the fortress," the scavenger said to Garrett, who was piloting the ship. "That's where their command center is." Garrett nodded, his hands gripping the controls tightly. "Hold on. This is going to be rough." The ship dove toward the fortress, dodging enemy fire and weaving through the chaos. The scavenger could feel the armor's energy surging, as if it knew what was at stake. When they reached the fortress, the scavenger and a small team of rebels boarded it, fighting their way through waves of alien soldiers. The armor's power was unmatched, its energy blades cutting through the enemy with ease. But the aliens were relentless, their numbers seemingly endless. As they neared the command center, the scavenger felt a strange sensation, a pull, as if the armor was guiding them. They followed it, leading the team through a series of corridors until they reached a massive chamber. Inside, they found the heart of the alien fortress, a glowing core surrounded by alien technology. But what caught the scavenger's attention was the figure standing in the center of the room. It was another alien, but unlike any they had seen before. Its armor was sleek and black, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The scavenger could feel its power, a cold and calculating force that sent a shiver down their spine. "You are persistent," the alien said, its voice echoing in the chamber. "But you cannot win." The Empire is eternal. The scavenger stepped forward, the armor's glow intensifying. Your empire is built on fear and oppression. But humanity is built on hope. And that's something you'll never understand. The alien laughed, a cold and hollow sound. Hope. Hope is a weakness. And weakness is why you will fail. The battle that followed was fierce. The alien moved with unnatural speed, its attacks precise and deadly. The scavenger fought with everything they had, the armor's power surging with every strike. But the alien was strong, its strength fueled by the dark energy of the core. As the fight dragged on, the scavenger began to tire. The armor's glow dimmed slightly, its energy draining. The alien noticed and pressed its advantage, driving the scavenger back. You see, the alien sneered. Your hope is nothing but a fleeting illusion. But the scavenger refused to give up. They thought of the humans they had met, the lives they had touched, and the future they were fighting for. With a surge of determination, they charged, the armor's energy flaring to life. The final blow was swift and decisive. The scavenger's blade pierced the alien's armor, its glow consuming the dark energy within. The alien let out a final, guttural scream before collapsing, its body dissolving into nothingness. The core began to destabilize, its energy surging out of control. We need to get out of here. Garrett shouted, pulling the scavenger toward the exit. As they fled the chamber, the scavenger activated the armor's energy shield, protecting the team from the explosions that rocked the fortress. They barely made it to their ship, the fortress collapsing behind them as they flew away. The rebellion had won the battle, but the scavenger knew the war was far from over. As they looked at the stars, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were no longer just a scavenger or a bearer of the armor. They were a leader, a symbol of hope for all of humanity. The destruction of the alien fortress was a major victory for the rebellion, but the scavenger couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. The aliens' words echoed in their mind, hope is a weakness. There was more to this war than they understood, and the scavenger knew they needed answers. As the rebellion regrouped, the scavenger spent hours studying the armor, trying to unlock its secrets. The visions it had shown them before were fragments of a larger story, one that held the key to humanity's survival. One night, as the scavenger sat alone in their quarters, the armor's glow intensified. A holographic projection appeared, showing a star map with a single planet highlighted. It was Earth, but not as the scavenger remembered it. The image shifted, showing a thriving civilization, humanity at its peak. The scavenger watched in awe as the vision unfolded. Humanity had once been a powerful force in the galaxy, its technology and unity unmatched. But their greatest strength was their ability to adapt, to overcome any challenge through ingenuity and cooperation. Then came the fall. The vision turned dark, showing the alien empire's betrayal. The aliens, jealous of humanity's power, had launched a surprise attack, wiping out entire cities and leaving the survivors scattered and broken. The scavenger felt a surge of anger and sadness. Why didn't we fight back? They asked, their voice trembling. The armor's voice echoed in their mind. We did. But the aliens had something we didn't, unity. They were willing to sacrifice everything for their empire, while humanity was divided. The vision shifted again, showing the creation of the armor. It was designed to preserve humanity's legacy, to find those who embodied its true spirit and guide them in the fight against the aliens. But why me? The scavenger asked. I'm just one person. You are more than that, the armor replied. You are the spark that will reignite humanity's fire. But you cannot do it alone. You must awaken the others. The scavenger frowned. Awaken the others? What do you mean? The armor didn't answer. Instead, it projected a new map, showing the locations of several hidden facilities scattered across the galaxy. Each one was marked with a symbol that matched the one on the armor. These are, the scavenger began. Stasis facilities, the armor explained. Built to preserve humanity's greatest minds and warriors. They have been waiting for the right time to awaken. The scavenger's heart raced. If they could find these facilities and awaken the people inside, they could turn the tide of the war. But it wouldn't be easy. The aliens would be watching, and the facilities were likely heavily guarded. The next morning, the scavenger called a meeting with Garrett and the other leaders of the rebellion. They explained what they had learned, showing them the map and the vision of humanity's past. If we can awaken these people, we'll have the knowledge and strength we need to defeat the aliens, the scavenger said. Garrett nodded, his expression grim but determined. It's a long shot, but it's our best chance. We'll need to move quickly and carefully. The rebellion began preparing for the mission, gathering supplies and planning their routes. The scavenger knew this would be their most dangerous mission yet, but they also knew it was their only hope. As they prepared to leave, the scavenger stood at the edge of the camp, staring at the stars. The armor's glow pulsed softly, as if in reassurance. We're going to win this, the scavenger whispered. For humanity. The rebellion's fleet moved swiftly through the stars, guided by the map the armor had provided. Their destination was the closest stasis facility, hidden deep within an asteroid field. The scavenger stood at the helm of the lead ship, their eyes fixed on the glowing holographic display. This is it, Garrett said, his voice tense. If the aliens find out what we're doing, they'll throw everything they've got at us. The scavenger nodded. We'll have to be quick. In and out before they even know we're there. As the fleet entered the asteroid field, the scavenger felt a surge of anticipation. The facility was close, but so were the dangers. The asteroids were massive and unpredictable, their movements creating a deadly obstacle course. Stay sharp, the scavenger said over the comms. One wrong move, and we're done for. The ships weaved through the asteroids, their pilots skilled and focused. The scavenger's ship led the way, the armor's energy shielding protecting it from the occasional collision. Finally, they reached the facility, a massive structure built into the side of an asteroid. It was ancient but intact, its surface covered in the same glowing symbols as the armor. This is it, the scavenger said, their voice filled with awe. Let's move. A small team boarded the facility, the scavenger at the front. The interior was dark and silent, the air thick with dust. But as they moved deeper, the facility began to come alive. Lights flickered on, and the sound of machinery filled the air. The scavenger followed the armor's guidance, leading the team to the central chamber. Inside, they found rows of stasis pods, each one containing a human in suspended animation. This is incredible, Garrett said, his voice filled with wonder. These people, they've been waiting for this moment for who knows how long. The scavenger approached the control panel, the armor's gauntlet interfacing with the system. The pods began to activate, their lids sliding open one by one. As the humans inside awoke, the scavenger felt a surge of hope. These were the people who could turn the tide of the war, scientists, warriors, and leaders who had been preserved for this very moment. But their celebration was short-lived. An alarm blared, and the facility's lights turned red. We've got company. Garrett shouted, pointing to the monitors. The scavenger's heart sank as they saw the alien fleet approaching. The aliens had found them. We need to get these people out of here, the scavenger said, their voice urgent. Now. The team sprang into action, helping the awakened humans to the ships. The scavenger stayed behind, using the armor's power to hold off the alien forces that had boarded the facility. The battle was intense. The aliens were relentless, their numbers overwhelming. But the scavenger fought with everything they had, the armor's energy surging with every strike. As the last of the humans were evacuated, the scavenger made their way back to the ship. But before they could board, a massive explosion rocked the facility. The scavenger was thrown to the ground, the armor's energy shielding them from the worst of the blast. But the facility was collapsing, the asteroid breaking apart around them. "We need to go," Garrett shouted, reaching out to the scavenger. The scavenger hesitated, their eyes fixed on the facility. There was still so much they didn't know, so much they could learn. But they knew they had to survive. With a final glance, the scavenger grabbed Garrett's hand and boarded the ship. As they flew away, the facility collapsed behind them, its secrets lost to the void. But the scavenger knew they had what they needed. The awakened humans were the key to humanity's survival. And with their help, the rebellion would finally have a chance to win the war. The rebellion's fleet returned to their hidden base, the newly awakened humans in tow. The atmosphere was a mix of relief and tension, relief that they had succeeded in their mission, and tension because the war was far from over. The scavenger stood at the center of it all, the armor's glow a constant reminder of the responsibility they carried. The awakened humans quickly integrated into the rebellion, their knowledge and skills proving invaluable. Scientists worked on reverse engineering alien technology, warriors trained the rebels in advanced combat techniques, and leaders helped strategize the next steps. The scavenger watched it all with a sense of pride, knowing that humanity's spirit was alive and stronger than ever. But the aliens were not idle. Reports came in of massive fleets gathering on the edges of human-controlled space. The Empire was preparing for a final, devastating assault. "We need to strike first," the scavenger said during a council meeting. "If we wait for them to come to us, we'll be overwhelmed." The leaders agreed, and plans were set in motion. The rebellion would launch a coordinated attack on the alien homeworld, the heart of the Empire. It was a risky move, but the scavenger knew it was their only chance. As the fleet prepared for the mission, the scavenger took a moment to reflect. They stood at the edge of the base, staring at the stars. Garrett approached, his expression thoughtful. "You've done more than anyone could have asked for," he said. "But this next battle, it's going to be the hardest one yet." The scavenger nodded. "I know. But we're not alone anymore. We have each other, and that's what makes us strong." Garrett smiled faintly. "You've changed, you know. When we first met, you were just a scavenger trying to survive. Now, you're a leader. A symbol of hope." The scavenger looked at the armor, its glow steady and reassuring. "I didn't do it alone. The armor chose me, but it's humanity that gave me the strength to keep going." The day of the attack arrived. The rebellion's fleet moved as one, their ships cutting through the void toward the alien homeworld. The scavenger's ship led the way, the armor's energy a beacon of hope for all who followed. As they approached the homeworld, the alien fleet emerged to meet them. The battle was fierce, the void lit up with explosions and energy blasts. The scavenger's ship weaved through the chaos, its shields holding strong against the onslaught. "We need to get to the surface," the scavenger said. "That's where their command center is." Garrett nodded, his hands gripping the controls tightly. "Hold on. This is going to be rough." The ship broke through the alien defenses, landing on the planet's surface. The scavenger and a team of rebels fought their way to the command center, the armor's power unmatched. Inside, they found the alien emperor, a towering figure surrounded by guards. The scavenger stepped forward, the armor's glow intensifying. "This ends now," the scavenger said, their voice steady. The emperor laughed, a cold and hollow sound. "You think you can defeat me? You are nothing but a relic of a forgotten age." The scavenger didn't respond. They charged, the armor's energy surging as they clashed with the emperor. The battle was intense, the emperor's power matching the armor's strength. But the scavenger had something the emperor didn't, humanity's spirit. With a final, powerful strike, they defeated the emperor, the armor's energy consuming the dark force within him. As the emperor fell, the alien forces faltered. Without their leader, they were lost. The rebellion pressed their advantage, driving the aliens back and securing the homeworld. The scavenger stood amidst the ruins of the command center, the armor's glow dimming slightly. They had done it. They had won. But the cost had been high. Many had sacrificed their lives for this victory, and the scavenger knew the war had changed them forever. As the rebellion celebrated, the scavenger looked at the stars. They knew humanity's journey was far from over, but they also knew that as long as they stood together, they could overcome any challenge. The armor's voice echoed in their mind one last time. You have done well. But the legacy of humanity is not just in the past, it is in the future. Protect it, and never forget what makes us strong. The scavenger smiled faintly. I won't.